Hello and welcome with Crushing the Meta. Today we are with
D-Boy.
D-Boy and his darks.
Yeah. So we finally got the cards for Dark Irregulars, and we had the time to test them a little bit, and I thought, well, it's time to do a deck profile for you guys. Fira is today to help me with the deck profile.
Yeah.
Okay, so this deck profile is maybe a little bit different. We have seen lots of deck profiles of Dark Irregulars because the deck is doing very well. It's top pick in multiple tournaments, especially in the TCG, in the OCG maybe a few months ago. And for now, the build that I will show you is the most that stay true to the original Dark Irregulars Scharhrot from the G era. So I have used lots of cards from the new set as much as possible to keep it in the theme. These are all the Scharhrots. I have all of them in SP because it's one of my favorite arts. As Fira know, this one is my favorite.
Yeah, that one.
This is the first card she saw as in the art of Dark Irregulars.
Yeah.
There are multiple things on Scharhrot that makes the card amazing. And because this is my favorite art, they are chilling in these sleeves.
In the sleeves. Yeah. It's fun because when Hart taught me Vanguard, he was like, do you know Vanguard? And he showed me this card first. And
Yep.
I was like, oh, whoa, that's nice.
Yep. Of course, you guys know this is the original one. This is the second one. This is the third one. And this one kind of came in the same as these two, like in between the sets. The thing is with the new Scharhrots, as we expected, the cards like Susanoo, Scharhrot, Luard, Claire's Sword, all of these to come back. I was very happy with the art of this Scharhrot, because some of the arts from the new cards look way different. Some of them look the same. And the thing is with this Scharhrot, they actually it's very different than this one, as in the colors choices that they made. Of course, the unit is the same, but they actually went very close to the later ones, as you can see in the type of colors. This one has very, very different backgrounds, and I like that because this background looks amazing. It looks like he's in church.
Yeah.
Or in front of a church.
Some Gothic church.
Yeah. Alright, let's get to the deck profile and then come back and explain a little bit about the cards and the other choices that you could make, as always. For the grade 3 lineup, of course, we play the 4 copies of Scharhrot. It's your main grade 3 go-to. It's actually the only grade 3 that you want to ride into in this deck. And as I said, later on, I will show you other options that you could do. The other card that you want to play out for is Number of Terror. It's a card that people at the start didn't want to run at 4. Some people didn't run it at all. But then after testing, after seeing so many decks that run it, they tried it out and then they find, well, this card is very good. Me, myself, I run this card at 4 all the time because it's amazing. It makes such a big difference. Drawing 4 cards in one turn is a lot. And just keep filling up the soul for the next turn for Scharhrot is amazing. The last 2 cards that you put in the deck could be very different. We have seen multiple other choices that people play, like this one, which could help you to put cards from the damage zone to your soul and then get some cards back if you couldn't find your Scharhrot. If you want to get Killer Tail, any card that you want to get, this card does help you out to get that. Problem is, it's cost a counterblast and it's only on place skill, so it doesn't do anything. Good thing, it works on Vanguard and Rearguard. And the other card that people want to play is, of course, Hope on Dam. Amazing cards, makes it very hard for your opponent to guard your attacks, especially because you make 5 attacks each turn, or maybe start with 4 and then 5. Problem, you need 20 cards on your soul, which is something that you will not achieve on the first grade 3 turn, maybe the second one, or maybe even the third one. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't play this card. The card that I do play is the 2 copies of Gilderay. Gilderay is just the card itself, as in the character. If you guys don't know what Gilderay, the children killer.
Oh no, he eats you.
But the thing about Gilderay is he's from the same theme as Scharhrot, of course, as in he came out in the G era in the same set as when Scharhrot was revealed as our first GR, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, the card is just crazy good. and it's definitely very good to have in the team. Good thing about Gilderay is because you attack with him twice during your Scharhrot turn, you could very easy have field control over your opponent, because each time he attacks, of course, you could retire something from your opponent's field. The Counterblast, the own place ability, is also very effective because you could get a grade 2 to fill the soul even more. You could get a booster that you want to eat up with your number of terror. He works also very good with Killer Tail because sometimes you lose one, then you could get it back. So it's very, very, very effective ability, and it does make a lot of sense to have it in this deck. So that's the grade 3 lineup. We play only 10. I know that you guys sometimes want to play more because I'm more of a fan of Force Cleanse. I like to play just 10. For the grade 2 lineup, we play 4 Emblem Master, followed up by, of course, 4 Executioner, and then we play the new common, which I find it more like an Oracle Think Tank card, but
yeah, you can see a little bit of future.
Yep, that's why the third eye.
Yeah.
This is one of the cards that people may not run. So your lineup would look a little bit like this, or even with 2, then you want to run an extra grade 3, also understandable. What other choices could you play? Well, there are 2 cards that people love to play. I tested them out and they are also very good, which are the promo, who gets an extra 1k for every card you have in your soul. Continuous ability, which makes her very huge, even on your Vanguard, so it's hard for your opponent to hit you that turn, and if you have her as a Vanguard, it's also hard for your opponent to get rid of her if they do not play a Retire clan. So one of the cards that definitely fits the deck very well, but she doesn't give you soul. So if you find yourself having 2 copies of her in your hand and you cannot soul charge, then she's pretty much a dead card. She would not do much. Other card that people sometimes would like to run is Gwen the Reaper, but because I play Gilderay, I don't find him necessary. The retire ability is not needed, and she is very interesting. Sometimes she reveals the top card. It's something like a Scharhrot that you want to keep there. You could just attack, drive check it, get it to your hand. There are other options that you could do. Sometimes you have a top card that you want to add to your hand, so you activate the number of terror skill first to add that card to your hand, and sometimes you just put that card into the soul. Other good thing about her is the second time you attack with her after making or doing the drive check with Scharhrot, you know what the top card is, which means you know what your first damage check is in your opponent turn. So that's also very effective. I find this card actually way better than a common, and also way better than people give her credit to be, especially in this build. If you don't play Gilderay, then I could understand understand you taking this card out to put something different. So 11 grade 2s. For the grade 1s, I think that this is pretty much a stable. So you play the 4 copies of Succubus of Pure Love, and then you add in the Yellow Bolt, and you add in the Killer Tail. This is the Yellow Bolt, the Killer Tail, very good. First, I was a little bit skeptical about Killer Tail. I didn't like her at all. But then after testing, I find her very, very, very good. Very effective as well, especially with Emblem Master. And what people also sometimes like to add to the deck is the grade 1 who could search your grade 3. So that would be... Give me a minute. We have a whole binder here. So that would be this card. I think Alluring Succubus.
Another Succubus.
Yep. People would like sometimes to run the 2 copies of her in the deck, because with a Counterblast you could search for the top 7 cards, I think, for a grade 3, and then you put one in your soul, add one to the hand, which is good because you get more soul. She goes to the soul as well, and then you add a grade 3 to your hand. So that's definitely very, very effective, especially if you also run the grade 3 who could search you and then get you from the soul to your hand. Problem, she costs a Counterblast. And I like to keep my Counterblasts for my Scharhrot, Gilderay, other cards that you want to use your Counterblasts with. And that would mean that you need to play more grade 3s, or you would want to take her out. So it's pretty much up to you to play Succubus of Pure Love or Alluring Succubus. For me, definitely play 4 copies of this. A good combination with her is sometimes when you get a grade 3 to your hand, you discard something. which means that your Killer Tail will become effective right away on the first turn because you don't have anything in the drop zone, but with her you do. So I like the combination of these two. Alright, so let's get to the grade zeros. Trigger lineup. For trigger lineup, I think the trigger lineup is pretty much almost the same. You actually have one thing that you could change out. So you always play the 4 heals.
The Alice.
The Alice. Of course, way more better than the Doctor.
Yeah.
And then you play, of course, the 8 crits. And then we come to the Sentinels. Some people like to play the 4 draw. And some people would like to play the 30k. The one-eyed succubus. Pretty much up to you. Again, to your preference. I find this card way better, actually, in this deck because it's a Protect clan. And I said it before, the 30k Sentinels are made for the Protect clans because you could always get Protect 1 to your hand. Although in this deck, I find myself going to Protect 2 most of the time. Why? Because you attack twice with that column and you have some interceptors that you could just give up, intercept with them, and then call something different on the next turn. So this would be less good with Protect 2. So that's why I keep 2 on 2. For me to have the extra draw is not needed. Is he needed in the early game? Definitely not needed in the late game. But I may change it to just 4 copies of her, or even maybe 3 on 1. But for now, the 2 on 2. It's the same way that that you play your Susanoo deck, Vera.
Yeah.
It's nice to have the option to go for Protect 1 or Protect 2.
Yeah.
Even in some matches that you think Protect 1 would be better. But if you have like 2 perfect guards in your hand, you'll be like, okay.
Yeah, you can choose to make it different.
For the starter, definitely Devil in Shadow.
Yeah, you like that card a lot.
Yep. I love the art. I love the monster behind the child. And most people, when they see this art, they would think he's trying to eat him or do something to him. But actually, they're friends. Because,
it's his buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's his buddy. Because if you read the first art, which he said that everybody fears this child, but today he found a friend. So I think that's very very nice, like the lore in it. That's this one, which is kind of, they kept the art a little bit the same. The shadows is coming out of the wall or the graveyard, and he's actually protecting the child, where when people see this, they would think he's trying to do something wrong. But this is pretty much up to the perspective of the person himself. If he is afraid of monsters, then he would think he's doing something wrong. But for me, I love monsters.
Yeah.
I think they're just friends.
They're chilling together in the graveyard. Yeah.
When I saw this guy, I thought, they're just friends. And then I read the text and I thought, yeah, they're just friends.
It's true.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's the Dark Irregular deck profile that I find the most true to Scharhrot as his origins. If people play different deck lists, maybe more competitive ones, I could see people run, especially the grade 3, which is this one. People may run this card because it does make the deck a little bit more consistent. I agree with that 100%. But for me, I love the combination of having Gilderay with your Scharhrot.
Yeah.
So you can use them together very well and you stay in the theme. Pretty much it for this deck profile. I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and let us know in the comment section below if you will try this deck profile or this deck list out, or you have one of your own. And if you do have one of your own, what do you have different in your list? Okay guys, till next time.
Yeah, see you soon. Bye bye.